All right, everyone, we're going to show you how to assemble your valve cover. When you get this, it will have been redone, has a good, nice coat of powder coat on it. One of the first things you want to do is when you take your valve cover, and in this particular case, we're going to be using the 2001 to 2005 valve cover, but this applies to all your valve covers. Rotate it around. Before you start working on anything, you want to set up your workspace. In this case, we're using this foam material. It's pretty thick and it'll protect the valve cover surface as we're working on it so that it doesn't get scratched. Now, your ultimate goal is when you get it, inside of your valve cover, your original valve cover will have these baffles already pre-installed. As you can see here, we put one as a demonstration of what it looks like when it's done. When you get this valve cover, it's going to have these chambers completely open. As you can see, these need to be resealed. So on your previous valve cover, you need to take those screws off, pull the baffle off, and then you need to get it completely cleaned. You can take a wire brush or something to it so that you can scrub all of the gasket maker on the edges off, and that way your surface that it's going to mate to is perfectly clean there. As you can see, 100% clean. We're going to put gasket maker on all the areas where this plate and the valve cover touch. And then as you can see here, when they overlay, that sealant will prevent oil from going from the engine into those chambers. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so the tools that you're gonna need are pretty simple. After you've cleaned all your surfaces off, you need gasket maker. We like to use the right stuff. They also have the gray stuff, which is more for timing covers, but it still works just the same. So we use this, and the part number will be listed in the description, and a screwdriver. So it's pretty much a piece of cake. So what you want to do is you want to take your gasket maker, and we're going to go across, once again, all these areas where the baffles meet, and we're going to lay a nice thick coat of RTV. And if it gets into those holes, it's not a big deal because it'll help hold the bolts in after you install the bolts. Let's lay a nice thick coat of RTV, as you can see there. And if you miss a spot, go back, plug it up, and then keep going. And get in there inside the half moon. Make that connection there. Next, you want to go to the circles. This inner portion here is the hardest one. There's one. So now that you've applied the gasket maker pretty evenly and pretty thickly coated, the next step is to put your baffle over. And when you put your baffle over, you need to start taking your screws that you've already pre-cleaned, and you're going to put them in with a screwdriver. We highly advise that you do not use an electronic impact screwdriver. That could strip these heads or strip the threads. So you take your screws, and you get them started by hand. There's one. There we go. Getting them started. Don't tighten them until the very end. All right, so we got all 6 screws started. Now we go down to tightening them. And you want to tighten them hand tight as you can with the screwdriver. There we go. In a star pattern almost. Start from the center and work your way out. There you go, tight, tight. Now move our way over here. Move over here. It's tight. Move over here. Move over here. And when you're done, you check them all for tightness. Make sure they're all evenly tightened. And that's it, you're set to go. So now you move on to the third baffle, which is going to be this one here. In the scenario that this excess bugs you a little bit while it's still wet, you can take your finger and simply run it across to smooth it out a little bit. But this isn't necessary. Congratulations, you have just resealed your new valve cover. We hope you enjoy. On the variable valve time valve covers, once they're finished and look like so, it's important that you remember to transfer your solenoid. When you receive your valve cover, it will be missing. So this unit needs to be transferred before it can be installed. So you just slide in your old solenoid, you take your bolt and you bolt it in. And that's it, you're done.